Hi YouTube, welcome back to Vchannel. Today we will review Air 2S so detailed with many leaked information in some weeks ago. And right here we have Air 2S standard version box. The fly mode combo version will similar, but it have some accessory. Next part of the clip, we will see that if we pay much more $300 to follow us for fly mode combo version, what will we receive? This is standard version, very small. Packet is Mavic Air 2 completely. Okay, right now I will unbox. In the front of the box, you can see that the most remarkable of Air 2S that is we will have the new image sensor, CMOS with a size up to 1 inch. Equal the flagship Mavic 2 Pro, and it have ADS-B air sense. It can help the aircraft can recognize the human airplane, human helicopter from far distance, decrease the risk of crash. First of all, we have the optical avoidance sensor in the head, and the next difference is we have the orange mark on the motor instead of white on Mavic Air 2. It's so small, not too heavy actually, and it will suitable for us to travel instead of Mavic 2 Pro. But the video quality can compare to Mavic 2 Pro directly. To be honest, if you want small size, flexible, but have the very high quality image, very high quality video in the low light environment even so good, Air 2S is very good considerable choice. On the head, we have the new vision position sensor. It helps the aircraft recognize the obstacle. However, this sensor, because the principle of this is image sensor, like our eyes, use 3D algorithm to control the distance, so you should pay attention, not like IR, infrared optical avoidance sensor. It will have the transmitter and receiver diode to generate infrared in low light condition. It still works well, but with vision position sensor, you should pay attention in low light condition. These vision position sensor work not good in low light condition, and in dark it have no effect at all. And once again, I need to tell you that you should not so believe on drone sensor. Should pay attention, look out the environment and still on control. Because first of all, when we switch to sport mode, the drone is flying with very high speed, but turn off the sensor, the risk of crashing will increase dramatically, more and more. Secondly, this is image sensor, so it will depend on contrast and the light level of environment, especially in a situation of low light, low contrast, or small object like the branch. It recognizes so bad and not recognize even. The risk of crash is really high when approach small optical or low light environment like that. With upward sensor of Air 2S will assist us to some situations so good, such as flying under the bridge near the roof. It will decrease the risk of crash. Under we have two vision position sensor like Mavic Air 2, and we have the LED and the downward of vision position sensor can work in low light conditions so good. With the LED, the LED will turn on automatically in low light environment when we take off and land as well. Vision position sensor. This sensor is developed many years ago, using in factory chains, is counter, and in robot technology. However, this sensor can only work best in the condition of good light, and the ability will decrease when the light darker. Each structure will light two camera or two our eyes. If you try to cover one eye, the image you see is flat, 2D. We cannot feel the distance. When we open two eyes, we have the feeling of distance, 3D. That is the structure of vision position sensor. It will have two cameras. This will collect the data from these two cameras and use the algorithm to calculate the distance, 3D environment. So if the light is lower, the ability of this sensor is less exactly. And another sensor I want to tell you is equipped in some other drone generation such as Mavic Pro, Mavic 2, etc. That's the optical avoidance sensor. It's used in robot technology and industrial as well. It has two diodes, one transmit and one to receive. When there are obstacle things, the infrared rays, if reflect back, the receive diode receive. From that structure, it can determine distance. IR sensor is have strong points that it will still work good in low light or non-light environment because it have it on light source. That's the impress rate. Another sensor that is the sensor using on car, namely ultrasonic sensor. It will emit the ultrasonic wave. When they reflect to the obstacle, the receiver recognize. On that way, it can calculate the distance. Moreover, on luxury car, Lexus, Mercedes, Audi, they use radar. The ejection is higher many times, although the price is very expensive. And you know, expensive DJI MG1X have that sensor. You know, only the sensor for that drone costs near $850. About the ruggedness, to be honest, we cannot complain at all. With very high class like this, the ruggedness is very high. You cannot find any superfluous plastic and any rickety feeling. Up to this class is very high class. We also open the arm like traditional way of Mavic generation, 2 to the front and 2 to the back. The battery, this is Mavic Air 2 battery exactly. And you can see here a Mavic Air 2 was printed in the label. With 3500 mAh capacity, this battery have the metal bracelet will help the battery be hold tightly to the aircraft. The risk of battery fall in flight almost impossible. In the battery room, we have the metal contact. When we put the battery not really tight, the aircraft will recognize and announce immediately as well. The left side we have USB Type-C and the traction hole is so big right here. Our Air 2S will equip the fan as well, so it will help the aircraft not so hot. On the right side we have the micro SD memory card slot, and you can see our motor Y is very tight, very regular. It shows that this motor must be produced from very high manufacturer chain surely. We have Air 2S model and the rest arm is ADS-B Ascent, and the operating we cannot see outside. That is Air 2S will add 2 more antenna. So we will have total 4 antenna, 2 on the front arm and 2 on the back arms. It will have the range longer and much more stable on all of the side. On the older generation, you can see that sometimes we rotate in some side, it can lose signal, but when we rotate, we can have the signal again because the drone have 2 antenna. The maximum connection ability just on some certain side, while right here we have up to 4 antenna. On side will be have the same ability. Okay, about the outlook, like so similar to Mavic Air 2. Now it's the most valuable of Air 2S, that is camera. Its large ray design is very similar to Mavic 2 Pro, and the upgrading is so significant. Absolutely clear that DJI want to impress in this part. You can see it's all made from metal. It's so cool when we touch. Not use plastic like previous generation like Mavic Air 2. And now we have the most remarkable of it, that we have 20 megapixel image sensor with the size up to 1 inch, equal to Mavic 2 Pro, significant upgrading than 1/2 inch of Mavic Air 2. Moreover, this camera have larger angle that is 22mm than 28mm of Mavic 2 Pro or 24mm of Air 2. Aperture open at 2.8 with the large sensor size like this, and the aperture can open up to 2.8. It makes the ability of working in low light is very good. However, a weak point of Air 2S compared to Mavic 2 Pro, that is not allowed to close aperture. It just fixed on 2.8. Instead of the Mavic 2 Pro can adjust from f2.8 to 11. It will help us in the light environment, like in the afternoon when we need to decrease the shutter speed to low speed, such as the cinematic standards is 148 or 150 second. We cannot because the aperture always open up to 2.8. It just fixed on 2.8. In that case, instead of Mavic 2 Pro, we can close the aperture A2S. If we want to decrease the shutter speed in that situation, we must use ND filter. And in A2S combo version, there includes ND filter already. Another strong point of this camera than Mavic 2 Pro, that in Mavic 2 Pro, when we record video in 4K, the image sensor will crop a little bit, but in A2S, we can use on of the surface of this image sensor, 1 inch. This camera can record video up to 5.4K, and about the resolution is better outstanding than Mavic 2 Pro. And with this camera, actually Mavic Air 2 is loose apparently. Just about image with about video quality, Air 2S just can be compared directly to Mavic 2 Pro. And we have right here the ability to work in low light environment is very good. The resolution higher than Mavic 2 Pro. It just lack that cannot close aperture. We also have professional flat profile like D-Log, even HLG, the flat profile which I really like, especially HLG will very easy to color grading. With D-Log, we can go to DJI homepage to download the LUT. We just need to add this official LUT of DJI. We have the wonderful color and wide dynamic range. And of course, if you need to use normal color, it will have that option and so easy. I will test in next minute. This camera gimbal can be said that it's solid, it's high quality, more premium than Mavic Air 2 too much. Very tight, very regular. This part can be said that it's the water's part of this drone. Behind we have 2 optical avoidance sensor. However, we not have the side optical sensor as well. From small part, it was built so good, even screw on your hexagonal screw. And right here we have the seal screw. Okay, next in the box we have the user manual, visitor guide, an accessory box. Inside we have the charger. Have output current is 13.2 volt, 2.82 ampere. Total power of the charger up to 28 watt. This is a very strong charger and a USB port to charge the remote controller. We have a wire to connect to the wall supplier, 2 phone cable, micro USB and USB Type-C, 1 USB Type-C cable. We have the wing, include 2A and 2B wing, a backup joystick. Finally, we have the remote controller. It will very similar the recent remote controller of DJI such as Mavic Mini 2, Mavic Air 2 with the design. If you want to use signal booster, you can use this Yagi antenna. Another upgrading of Air 2S, that's a we will upgrade to OcuSync 3.0 or Code 03. Similar the recent DJI product, that's a DJI FPV. It will help our aircraft have low latency as soon as possible. That is from 28 millisecond to 40 millisecond. So the reaction of the aircraft will faster, more flexible. Because belong to OcuSync 3.0, the range will upgrade up to maximum 20 km. But that is in theory. In the best condition, in the real flight, it's shorter absolutely, because can interfere by Wi-Fi signal, by mobile phone signal, television signal, etc. I will make another clip to take how far it can reach in real flight. Another upgrade of this remote controller, that's a max transmission bitrate. Is up to 16 megabit per second instead of 12 megabit per second on Mavic Air 2, especially not like the last leg some weeks ago. Glad to say that our Air 2S, the first product of Mavic generation, we can connect to goggle directly. The flight experience will be very wonderful, and it can connect to motion controller as well. Okay, right now, if we pay much more, $300 for a Fly More combo instead of standard version, what we will have? First of all, we have 2 battery, 3 blade, anti filter, battery charging hub, battery to power bank adapter, and solder bag. Okay, right now we will go out to test. Firstly is noise. This blade absolutely same Mavic Air 2, so it's same but acceptable. It will lower than Phantom Mavic 2 generation but higher than small drone like Mavic Mini, DJI Mini 2. About the stability, it's very good surely, with the ability to get 3 satellite systems, that's a GPS of US, GLONASS of Russia, Galileo of Europe, instead of 2 is GPS and GLONASS in Mavic Air 2. The ability to get signal is very fast and the number of satellite can get it too high. With this satellite system, it hovers so good, not have any fluctuate. And I try brake function. It's good as well. The distance of brake belongs to the speed, but not so helpful in some emergency situation want to brake immediately. And obstacle avoidance sensor work well. Pay attention that it's not good in low light condition, but pay attention that it's just good in good light condition. In low light condition, it's not good at all. With the condition is perfect. When we press the joystick maximum, the aircraft not continue to move at all. It's hover right on the position. However, just on scenic mode and normal mode. In sport mode, on-off sensor were disabled. Pay attention on the point. The new DJI version recent have some new function. On this left side, we can see the way apart to aircraft, the aircraft assist. And if you want to turn back the on interface, we tap here. Okay, right now we will test maximum altitude 500 meter. Air2S have a good internal memory. In some case, we forget to print the memory card or unfortunately the memory card was damaged. We can use this internal memory as well. The gimbal motor is very strong. Although we have very high altitude like this, the wind so strong, but the wind not affect to gimbal at all. The image is so smooth. The previous drone like Phantom and especially small light drone like Mavic Mini, Mini 2 at the so high altitude like this, there are ability gimbal will affect, can vibrate, be affected by the wind. Although the weight of gimbal camera, we can say that is pretty heavy, but the power of gimbal motor is strong as well. We will reach to 500 meter height easily, quickly. On of the clip I will record at Đà Lạt, Vietnam. The sign is so beauty is this season. When we tap and hold on screen, we can control the weight of gimbal and the aircraft. I will try photo mode. We can take JPEG or both JPEG and RAW. We have the single. The size of image is very large. The resolution is 5472 plus 3648 pixels. Aperture always open at 2.8, color space RGB, JPEG file around 8 MB, YDNG up to 40 MB. If you want to use finished product JPEG to upload to social network or print, you can use write-it JPEG file. And if you want to retouch the color, the sharpness, the contrast, etc. belong to your hobby, you can use DJI. It has very wide range to retouch. The image quality of Air2S I evaluate very high. We have the detail very good. There are many details both of highlight and shadow. And another strong point of this big sensor that it capture photo. And we can record video in low light. We will test in some next minute. And this is smart mode. It will show the best setting for this situation. AEB, auto exposure bracketing, 3 photos continuously and merge to have the wider dynamic range. Next is Birch, 3 to 7 photos. Okay, now I will try master shot. The first time appear on Mavic generation and the next generation I think is have as well. It will analyze environment to show the best way to fly and record video automatically. I will try to choose object, choose estimated flight time. For example, I choose medium. The aircraft will adjust the position. It shows the drawing now. then circle at far distance. Then pitch up and fly forward. So smart. The FPV effect, roll and fly forward. Then fly circle with close distance. Then zoom out. On a smart algorithm flight, it will use right here. Circle with medium distance. Then rocket. Pan. Decrease the height. The last stage pan. And return to inertial position. So smart. It will edit and make short video immediately, automatically, completely. And we can show many templates right here for it to export many clips with many different styles. To be honest, I see that this model is so cool, so convenient, so fast. Actually, if we fly by ourselves, edit by ourselves, add music, effect, etc. to make the clip like this, it will lose so much time. Especially when we travel, we just use some minutes, it will fly and edit automatically. We will have finished clip right away. So cool for master shot. Lastly, is a quick shot. This is nearly basic smart mode. Even lower segments such as Mavic Mini 1, Mini 2 have, and Air 2S have as well. We have drone, rocket, circle, helix, and boomerang. The drone will fly a left, and some position is increase the height and some position is decrease the height. It's perfect and nearly basic, so I'd like to forward so fast. Another quick shot, so cool, that's a Astro. The drone will record video and take 360-degree image to make an impressive clip like this. Okay, right now I can tell that is the most valuable watch for to pay much more money to upgrade to Air 2S, that is 1-inch sensor. Surely it will help us to record in low light condition, outstanding than small sensor. Now we begin to capture photo and record video on Dallas Square at 8 p.m. If I choose both of JPEG and RAW, we will have two pictures, JPEG and DNG like this. This is the detail. This is original JPEG, not retouched at all. Very high detail, so clear, so smooth. In the dark you can see it's just a little bit noise. If you use RAW file then retouch, I'm sure that it's much more beauty even. Okay, right now I begin to record video at HLG 4K resolution BT2020, my extreme favorite flat profile. After get to the right color space BT2020, I have the final product. Another time must be affirmative. Almost same Mavic 2 Pro. So smooth. And absolutely, if you use small sensor generation such as Mavic Mini 1, Mini 2, even Mavic Air 2S, you can see apparently the improving significantly, absolutely sure. So smooth, less sensor, less noise. Now if 5K at 20 frames per second. Shutter speed 130, ISO 800. Now I will fly far away to Dallas night market, and I want to say that with the distance from Dallas Square to night market is have no matter with Air 2S, so smooth on stream video to the remote controller. I will have a farthest distance to say Air 2S can reach OcuSync 3.0 or O3 on Air 2S. And now we return to the Dallas Square. If you have your Mavic 2 Pro, you can see clearly that the image, the video quality is really same Mavic 2 Pro is the truth. Now I record circle quick shot. This is the finished clip. Normal color profile, not have any color grading yet. On of original picture and video, I will post in the description below. You can download and have your own estimate. So smooth as well. Talk about color profile, I will have a test on of this color profile of Air 2S. I chose 5.4K 30 frames per second, normal color profile. Although normal color profile not color range, but you can see that the dynamic range is so wide as well. The detail of highlight and shadow of tree is very good. The color and detail is very good as well. Next is I try HLG, my favorite. Even on camera I'm using now, hybrid log gamma. And this is HLG with a slight color rating at color well. It can be seen the dynamic range was wider than normal. Lastly is D-Log. At this flat profile, the color in this color profile is so light. And this is LUT from DJI.com. With the LUT, it seems pretty lighter. It belongs to your taste. We have many choice right here with 10 bit and bitrate up to 150 megabit per second. We can affirmative that Air 2S absolutely can use for professional demand. And another point we can say that the weak point is when we record normal color profile, is allowed to zoom, but when we record flat profile such as HLG, D-Log, it cannot zoom at all. And in different resolution such as 4K, HD 1080p, 1220p, the zoom ability is different as well. And at 5.4K we cannot zoom. About the image and video quality, DJI have never made us disappoint in particular, and with large sensor up to 1 inch, biggest on Mavic generation, equal flagship Mavic 2 Pro. The resolution higher than Mavic 2 Pro is 5.4K than 4K on Mavic 2 Pro. 10-bit with bitrate up to 150 megabit per second. So we have the details so good, wide dynamic range up to 12.5 stops. So high, and in high-class segment like this, the interference of GPS refresh frequency absolutely not help. Just cheap product, not good at anti-interfere happen. The EV of Air 2S is so stable. Recently, you can see there are many clips compare the image and the video quality of Mavic 2 Pro versus Air 2S. Actually, the difference is not noticeable. Even Air 2S have strong points at a wider angle, 22mm than 28mm on Mavic 2 Pro. Higher resolution as well. Okay, now we will check the function is so good evaluate on Air 2S that is Active Track 4.0. First of all, it cannot work at 3.4K. And on 4K, it can work from under 30 frames per second. Higher frame rate, it cannot work because it must use the processor to analyze the tracking algorithm. It have not remained too much resource to process record in so high resolution such as 5.4K and so high frame rate such as 48, 50, 60 frames per second or above. The refresh frequency of Air 2S I see that is very high. It can catch the object tightly and almost have no latency. You can see the ring sweat like this. The Active Track 4.0, I see that it works so well. And because it uses AI, artificial intelligence, it recognizes the object so good. It can know the object is human, car, or the boat. And in the situation, the distance is not so far, the object is not too small, it can catch smoothly. But with the object is so small like this, it cannot catch. After choice object, the default mode is spotlight. In this mode, the aircraft will focus on the object. If we move the aircraft, the head of aircraft and gimbal will rotate to focus on the object. And when the object moves, it will rotate the gimbal camera, rotate the aircraft to look forward to object. When we choose the active track that it traces, it follows behind, and parallel is fly parallelly. It will follow so smooth. And when the object is hidden, the aircraft can interpolate to continue the flightway. And when object reappear, it can catch object and rotate smoothly. From Active Track 3.0, it is smarter than Active Track 2.0 so much. The situation catch wrong object like Active Track 2.0 rarely happen. And especially, it can catch the object so smooth. Even small object and when hide and reappear, it recognize exactly belong to AI. And with POI, point of interest, the aircraft will fly around the object. And the point that I must attention all of you guys that's although active track, we have the assist so good from obstacle avoidance sensor. However, you should don't subjective. Don't so believe on them. You should look around carefully, look at the height of obstacle to avoid crash. Okay, that's a detailed review and analyze strong point and weak point of DJI AIR 2S. Thanks for watching. If this video clip helpful, don't hesitate to click like, share, and can subscribe my channel. See you next clip. Bye bye. See you next time.